Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletico with
JP
of
Ganbatte Fitness.
So what we're going to do is a little nerd math video here where we're going to talk about different versions of squatting. There are different versions of math for different apparatus. Let's talk about the kettlebell version first because that's something that people have access to right now. He is going to talk about the barbell version if you are fortunate enough to have access to barbells. Our kettlebell nerd math is fairly simple. It's volume. Because with kettlebells, you cannot micro load the bell. You have a bell, it is a fixed weight. What we are looking at right here is for a single arm kettlebell front squat. So what you will see, 5 and 5, that means 5 reps on the left, 5 reps on the right, which is actually a total of 10 reps. The point of taking a kettlebell and doing a single arm front squat is you shove all the load to one side, so you end up with a lot of core contraction on the opposite side of your body in order to stabilize your spine. The beauty of kettlebells is the cross-body stabilization. You can get away with lighter weights because it has a different type of demand on the body. All demand on the body is good demand. You should do all of these different types of training over the course of your career, but this is what we're going to talk about for now. We do volume cycles for squats. In the beginning, it's always easy. There is a built-in ramp up period in kettlebell squatting. So let's say we start with 4 sets of 5 and 5 with a 1-minute break in between sets. Because the weights are lighter, you will get away with a shorter break period than you will with barbells. Because barbells are way heavier, they tend to require a much longer break period for you to not die. Kettlebells, because they are light, the volume ends up being high with it. So we start at 4 sets of 5 and 5, which is an easy workout. We always start with an easy workout because if you start with a hard workout, then people don't come back and they don't do more of the training. The point is always a ramp up. 4 sets of 5 and 5, 5 sets of 5 and 5, 6 sets of 5 and 5, 7 sets, 8 sets, 9 sets, 10 sets. And we build up. Usually, my personal favorite number for volume is 20 sets of something. So here we are looking at 20 sets of 5 and 5, which is really 20 times 10, is 200 reps. That is a lot of work. Assume that 5 squats on the left and 5 squats on the right are gonna take you under 20 seconds. But now imagine when you get down here, you have 20 times 20 seconds. This final thing is gonna end up taking you about 30 minutes to do. So this takes a very small amount of time, this takes a very long amount of time. That's fine. What we are focusing on is endurance weightlifting because all the activities in my life are endurance activities. I grew up on a farm, I throw bales of hay, I do a lot of weird things. Everything I do is some version of an endurance activity. When you get down to the bottom of this, there are usually 2 options on what you can do based on the equipment you have. Always answering that engineering equation, what do you have determines your next step. You can either get a heavier weight and repeat the program to focus on continuing to build up your basics. This is how most athletes do it. They focus on the basics, they run a program, they get a heavier weight, they keep going, eventually they get just ridiculously strong. If you don't have heavier weights, then what you would do is you would adjust your number of reps and you would come back up here and you would make it maybe 4 sets of 6 and 6 and you would rerun the program. And you can build this survives pretty well at about 10 and 10 on each side, and getting to 20 sets of 10 and 10 becomes 400 reps. It starts to get pretty heavy. At that point, then you would start adding more complexity into the equation, but it's always a choose your own adventure strategy. So this is our basic kettlebell nerd math for squats for single arms. JP, please detail for us the barbell.
Yep, so my realm is different, right? I have an access to a barbell, so I'm gonna use barbell squats. I want to address Mark's stuff. As an endurance athlete, I love his training style. I love the fact that he's using cross-body work. Not a lot of us really understand how important that is for an endurance athlete. So whether you're running in trails or on the road, it's always going to be uneven. And the cross-body work of Mark will help that. The program of both Mark's and I will be 2 times a week. Why is it necessary? Like what Mark was talking about earlier, strength is key for an endurance athlete. From my sport at least. Now, the way I like to program my athletes, we'll start with a heavy 5 back squat. That'll be week 1. You're gonna test what that is. So whether that's 95 pounds, 135 pounds, or if you're super strong, 300 pounds.
So
Great.
give them a quick explanation on what heavy 5 is, because that's a little bit more specific language than most people know.
Heavy 5 back squat is your heaviest weight that can back squat 5 times in 15 minutes.
This is an advanced athletic idea. Mine, you can scale it down and build it up. A heavy back squat is something you actually already have to be pretty good at training in order to survive doing, because you are doing 5 reps, you're adding a couple plates, you're doing 5 reps, you're adding 5 plates, and you're getting to the point where you can't make 5 reps. You have to be pretty strong just to survive that, because if you're not strong and you fail somewhere in the middle of that, it tends to go fairly poorly for something in your spine. Be aware, these strategies are meant to feed each other.
There's definitely for my realm, this will be an accessory to this. So once I find my heavy 5 and my back squat, what happens is in the following week, I play at 5 by 5, 5 sets, 5 reps at 75% of my heavy 5. And then 3 sets, 3 reps at 80% of that as well. That's for my week 2. We do this twice a week.
So think about if you're getting your heavy 5, you get a number, that max number, say it's 200 pounds. This is all the fun part about barbells, is micro loading the plates. You take 200 pounds and you multiply it by 0.75. That gives you 150 pounds, and that's what you would do your 5 by 5 at that day. So with kettlebells, the weight stays the same. You vary the volume, the intensity, or the complexity. With barbells, the back squat stays the same. The complexity stays the same, and they're varying based on the mathematical thing that you have to do. There's nerd math in everything if you're actually training, no matter what the apparatus is.
Week 3, now your body is used to the load. You're gonna go a little bit heavier. So you're gonna go at 5 by 5 at 80%, 3 by 3 at 85, and 2 by 2 at 90%. Now I'm asking your body to get onto threshold. Very similar how in Mark's programming, right, towards the end, you're getting to threshold. Mind you, when you're doing this lifts, and if your goal is endurance, running, or cycling, the thought process here is on your off days, you're running or biking. On the 4th week, again, we go a little bit heavier. Now we go 3 times, 3 sets, 5 reps at 85%, 3 by 3 at 90, and 2 by 2 at 95%. So you're right there at the peak of your 5 reps. And then we test on week 5.
You're retesting
your
a new heavy 5 back squat. Correct. So his is a cycle. It's a 4-week cycle that moves through. There's a test at the beginning, there's a test at the end, and then you repeat this program, because if you went from 200 pounds on your heavy 5 to 210 pounds on your heavy 5, your 75% is different. That's the beauty of the barbell, is adding those little half-pound plates on the edge. If you go to a gym and they don't have half-pound plates, just assume that they're a bad gym. Just straight up, because that means they're not actually doing the math. And if they're not doing the math, then I really question them. I question them. I want to know how they're doing the math if they don't have the things to do it.
Once you test your heavy 5 again, most likely your lift has significantly improved. Now, to maintain, I'm gonna have you squat with your new heavy 5 at 70%. So what that means is now you're getting out of that strength cycle and you're about to race, right? You're about to do your 5K race or your sprint triathlon. So 70% of your new heavy 5 will be your maintenance. And you can play around with that so many ways. The way I would recommend this is at 70%, you do your 5 by 5 at 70%. 5 sets, 5 reps at 70%, and go for a run after each set.
So he's always focusing his training on getting to some form of competition. Mine is different because he has a fixed day for his sport where he has to perform. The people I train tend to be actors, and their day when they have to perform is always different because production is always moving something very important around, either pushing it back a couple of weeks or moving it up way before you're ready. His is meant to peak. Mine is meant to wave, to try and keep people in a proper athletic condition for a long period of time. We try to hit peaks in the way that I train, but it almost never works out because the event always gets moved in some way, which is very annoying. Yeah, it's super annoying, but that's the way it is. So 2 different strategies to hit two different things. All nerd math. If you're not doing the math, you're probably not really doing anything yet. That's why we're gonna keep making these nerd math videos. The more you understand about doing the math, the better and more successful you can be in the long run for whatever your sport is. Doesn't matter, do the math. This has been Mark Wildman and
JP from Ganbatte Fitness.
And, do math, I don't know.